call this meeting to order of the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders, Thursday, October 15th, 2020, agenda meeting. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Certainly, Chairman. Freeholder Garrettson. I see you present. Freeholder Granados. Freeholder Hudak.
Here.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Here.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Here.
Freeholder Staten.
Here.
Freeholder Williams. And Chairman Mirabella.
Present.
Chairman, you have 6 freeholders present for tonight's meeting.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, please lead us in the prayer and salute to the flag.
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all who work for justice and peace. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and while we're getting back our video, Mr. Clerk, please read the statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act.
Certainly, Chairman. The chair wishes to announce that pursuant to requirements of the New Jersey statutes annotated, Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Union has been given by mailing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020, along with periodic changes necessitated by circumstances, to the newspapers circulating within the County of Union who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 in the administration building, and further by filing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 with the office of the county clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Good evening and welcome to another remote meeting of this Freeholder Board. As is our custom, we will begin by thanking the community during this COVID-19 outbreak. We've made a lot of progress, but New Jersey and cases around the country continue to be on the rise. Let's all renew our commitment to protect one another during this time of crisis. Wear a mask, observe social distance, and help keep our Union County family safe. With that, here's some updates on the county services related to COVID-19. Just a reminder, you can get registration information and other details on the Union County COVID website, ucnj.org/COVID-19. Last week, we launched a new initiative called UC Test, which will provide pop-up mobile COVID tests for teachers and staff in school districts throughout the county on a twice-a-month basis. I'd like to thank the Union County Education Association for their partnership with us on this important new service. The mobile test unit also continues to offer free services to the public, and our free drive-through COVID-19 test center continues to operate at Kean University on Mondays and Thursdays. I would like to remind everyone that local restaurants can now apply for funding through Union County's new COVID-19 Emergency Restaurant Grant Program. The grant program is funded through the Federal CARES Act, and it provides reimbursement for expenses related to compliance with Governor Murphy's executive orders on restaurant operations during the pandemic and public health emergency. The online application portal opened yesterday morning, and you can access it at ucnj.org/restaurant grant to apply. And for emergency food assistance during this crisis, our next food distribution event will take place Saturday, October 17th, beginning at 9 a.m. at the Union County Vocational Technical School located at 1776 Raritan Road in Scotch Plains. No registration is required at the event, and it will take place rain or shine. Turning to our Parks Department, we're carefully resuming some group activities in our parks with careful modifications for COVID prevention. Tomorrow, there will be a wonderful exhibit of recycled artwork at the Sensory Friendly Trail, which is located at the county's Trailside Nature and Science Center in Mountainside. We're looking forward to our latest in a concert series of drive-up concerts featuring Southside Johnny. Our next drive-up movie was scheduled for tomorrow evening, but due to the bad weather report, we've shifted that to Sunday, October 18th. We'll be screening the film Bohemian Rhapsody in celebration of LGBTQ History Month. So please come and enjoy a great musical experience and an inspiring life story. You can find registration information for both of the events on the county website. Finally, I'm happy to report that our third episode of Out in Union County Queer Empowerment Hour is coming up on Wednesday, October 28th. Queer Empowerment Hour is Union County's online space for you to connect with the community and hear of New Jersey's most dedicated LGBTQ plus advocates and allies. On October 28th, the discussion will focus on transgender identity and inclusion, so please be prepared and please join us. For more information, please visit ucnj.org/LGBTQ. Now let's get to the business part of our meeting. We will be approving communications later during the regular meeting. And now I'd like to ask, we'll start off with the Board of Elections Administrator, Nicole Dorado, to present her resolution. Nicole?
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. Thank you for having me this evening. I have one resolution on the agenda for your consideration. Be very happy to answer any questions.
Okay, I will be looking for hands raised from freeholders. I do not see any, but Nicole, can you just go over that at a high level for the public's education?
Yes, I will. So every year we have hired so ES&S is our election machine, new vote tabulation system vendor. And we've always had them on site on election day to assist with any machine issues that we might have. New statutes allow us to start prepping and counting vote by mail ballots 10 days prior to election day. While we won't actually start tallying or running ballots for results on the 10th day, we are going to start on October 30th. So this contract is to have an on-site resource with us while we are tallying all these votes starting October 30th through certification November 20th. So this extra fee is above and beyond what their regular contract would be, just to make sure that we have somebody on site who knows both the hardware and the software to avoid any issues.
Nicole, are other counties doing similar aggressive efforts like this to make sure everything gets done correctly?
I know other counties have historically had on-site, resources on the ground, boots on the ground from their vendors. So I wouldn't be surprised if everybody's kind of ramping up those safety nets for this election.
Okay. Well, good. Well, I'm glad we're doing that. So nice job to you and to your team. Right. Anything
Thank you,
else? I don't see any questions. All right. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you, Chairman.
We'll move on to the Department of Economic Development and the Deputy County Manager, Amy Wagner.
Good evening, freeholders. The Department of Economic Development has 3 resolutions for your consideration, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, I don't see any hands. Deputy County Manager, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Move to the Department of Engineering, Public Works, and Facilities Management, and that's Director Graziano.
Good evening, Chairman, freeholders. The department has 3 resolutions on tonight for your consideration. I'll try and answer any questions you have.
Okay. All right, Director, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Department of Finance, we'll move to Director Taylor.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the board. The Department of Finance has 2 resolutions for your consideration this evening, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Director, these look like 2 grants that we're accepting. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And there's no changes to the budget as a result, except just to add these to the budget?
There's no changes to the tax levy. That's correct.
Okay. Thank you very much, Director. We're going to move to the Department of Human Services, Director Anderson.
Good evening, Chair, members of the board. Department of Human Services has 7 resolutions on, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, I see Freeholder Mudet. Freeholder, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Debbie Ann. Just a question about number 3. I'm happy to see that we have another warming center for Code Blue Nights. I was just curious what the COVID protocols will be for those particular sites.
Well, there will be at 25% of capacity. That's about the ability for the church to serve about 35 to 40 people per night. We are assisting with the cleaning of the facility, mask wearing, et cetera, et cetera. So we have established set protocols for any warming centers. And this is particularly needed because it's in the Plainfield community. So we'll be serving the Plainfield population.
Excellent. I'm glad to see that.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Freeholder. That's actually a good question. So, Director, are we going to add any additional sites as a result of lowering capacity in some of the existing sites?
Chairman, great question. We're actually looking at that now, working with the county manager, deputy county manager, Office of Emergency Management, and Department of Public Safety to see across the board where can we gain more warming centers, have access to more hotel motels and other pieces to make sure that we can have capacity to serve our homeless population, but also following the COVID protocols that we will establish by CDC.
Great. Thank you, Director. I see Freeholder Staten.
Thank you, Chair. Director, can you please elaborate on number 7 for prevention links in Roselle?
So, sure, through you, Chairman. So Prevention Links, the program is for the intoxicated driver program that's part with motor vehicle, et cetera. So to reinstate, due to COVID, we had to go virtual. So we have to provide the trainings and counseling all online. So to expand, we are increasing our capacity and extending it to the end of this calendar year. So Prevention Links have been a great partner and they'll continue to do the work with us through this.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Nope, thank you for the question, Freeholder. Excellent. I don't see any other questions, so let me thank Director Anderson. Appreciate it. We're going to move to recreation. There is one item that's going to be added tonight, and I'll call on Mike Brennan, who is going to present that resolution. And Mike, I want you to go into a little bit of additional detail about it, just because it's the first time the public will be seeing it.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. This resolution is awarding a contract to Land Tech for site work and an artificial turf field installation at Snyder Avenue Park in Berkeley Heights.
Okay, what's the, is there a cost associated with that?
The total cost, including contingency, is 1.8 million. There is a $400,000 contingency, which basically, in case there is any issues, construction issues, soil, soil that needs to be remediated, et cetera, that would be able to accompany, without a change order, be able to take care of that. So the actual contract is for $1.4 million.
It seems like a pretty significant contingency program. Is that why is it so large? I know for unforeseen, I think you explained that, but it just seems like was enough preparation work done to ensure we know what we're getting into. It seems like a pretty big contingency.
Yes, it's just the standard contingencies that the engineers use as a percentage. But they do usually add this to most contracts, and we don't generally run into issues because we do some pre-testing. When you do a test for the engineering firms, they do spot testing, so they can't do the entire field. So they, in case they do run into a hot spot, what they would call it. But generally, the contingencies are not used and then go back to the general fund.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Michael. Any questions for Mr. Brennan? All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the Department of Public Safety and Director Moran.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. The Department of Public Safety has 3 resolutions for your consideration. I'll try and answer any questions you may have.
All right, very good. I don't see any hands at this point, so Director, thank you.
Thank you.
Office of the County Council Bergen.
Good evening, freeholders. County Council has 2 resolutions on this evening. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, seeing none.
Thank you, Chairman.
County Council. Office of the County Manager Oatman.
Thank you, Chairman. Good evening, everyone. I have 3 resolutions on tonight's agenda and will be happy to answer any questions.
County Manager, just one quick question. So for number 3, we're basically just extending the CARES agreements about 2 weeks. Is that right?
That's correct, Chairman. The initial CARES Act had to have all the money and the paperwork spent and in by December 30th. There's been a lot of changing to the regulations throughout the summer. Now the paperwork is due sometime in the spring. So it gives us till the end of the year to cut the check and gives us a little bit more time now to get the backup and send down to the feds.
So we want to make sure we're maximizing the relief we can get out to the community.
We're going to the end of New Year's Eve.
All right, very good. Excellent. Thank you, County Manager. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chairman.
We have then freeholder-sponsored resolutions. Any comments, freeholders, on the freeholder resolutions? Okay. It doesn't look like that. So at this time, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn our agenda meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Freeholder Kowalski, seconded by Freeholder Stateman. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Certainly, Chairman. Freeholder Garrettson. That is a yes. Freeholder Hudak. I'm sorry.
Aye.
It's a yes. Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Aye.
Freeholder Staten.
Yes.
And Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, that's 6 votes in the affirmative to adjourn the agenda meeting.
All right, we are adjourned. And do you need any time to go right into the regular meeting, or do you want to jump right in?
Chairman, we go directly into the meeting.
Okay, I will call this meeting to order. The Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders, October 15th, 2020, regular meeting agenda. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson. Freeholder Granados. Freeholder Hudak.
Here.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Here.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Here.
Freeholder Staten.
Here.
And Chairman Mirabella.
Present.
Chairman, we have 5 freeholders present with our 8-member board. Freeholder Garrettson. Freeholder Garrettson is a yes. We have 6 freeholders present, Chairman.
Okay, very good. Please lead us in the prayer and salute to the flag, Mr. Clerk.
Humbly, we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all who work for justice and peace. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. While we're putting our videos back on, please read the statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act.
Certainly, Chairman. The chair wishes to announce that pursuant to the requirements of the New Jersey State Statutes Annotated, Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Union has been given by mailing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020, along with periodic changes necessitated by circumstances to the newspapers circulating within the County of Union who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 in the Administration Building, and further by filing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 with the Office of the County Clerk.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. I'm going to move directly over to Open Space Chairman Freeholder Hudak. This typically is a great night for the Freeholder Board where we have the mayors and different representatives from the towns come to the Freeholder meeting when they are in person to accept the checks in greening and in kids recreation. I want to congratulate Chairman Hudak for his work on this program. He worked with the Open Space Committee to take the applications that came in, the grant opportunities, and make the awards. So I'm going to, without any other delay, turn it over to Open Space Chairman Freeholder Hudak.
Thank you, Chairman Mirabella. First and foremost, I want to thank the members of the Open Space Committee for their hard work in going through this year's municipal grants. And it is our pleasure and our privilege to award municipal grants that will improve recreational offerings in each town, along with grants that will provide trees in each municipality. These grants are made possible by the Open Space and Recreation and Historic Preservation Trust Fund. Since the inception of this fund, I am proud to say that the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders has provided over $22 million in recreation grants and over $1.5 million in tree grants to our municipal partners. As we announce each municipality's award, we will share with you different projects that will be undertaken through this partnership. Some projects will focus on adding something new to a municipal recreation offering, and some will improve existing fields and parks. And some will assist in an overall effort to do a larger project that will take place over the next few years. So at this time, I'll ask Robert to go ahead and post up the presentation. Okay, first we have Berkeley Heights. They will receive a $2,000 Greening Union County grant and a $50,000 grant from the Kids Recreation Trust. And the purpose of that grant is to install a new play area and resurface tennis courts and bleacher pad in the Columbia Middle School softball field. Next, we have for Clark, we have improvements to the Nelson and Dolan girls softball fields for replacing the flooring at the Senior Fitness Center, and that's for $16,029.04. For Cranford, they will receive a $4,500 Greening Union County grant. The Kids Recreation Trust Fund will give them $65,000. That's for a renovation of the indoor tennis courts, upgrades to the Memorial and Centennial Avenue pools, resurfacing of the basketball courts at Adams, Buchanan, and Johnson Parks. Elizabeth will receive $19,000 from the Greening Union County grant. They will also receive $115,000 from the Kids Recreation Trust, and that will make Kellogg Park Playgrounds ADA compliant. Fanwood will receive $40,000 from the Kids Recreation Trust for a master plan improvement at Forest Road Park. Garwood has received a $5,000 Greening Union County grant and $3,362 from the Kids Rec Trust, and that's for maintenance of the turf fields at Garwood Sports and Recreation Complex and purchasing of field hockey goals. Kenilworth will receive $75,000 from the Kids Rec Trust for the removal and remediation of asbestos tile in the recreation building and improvement of tennis courts. Linden will receive $10,000 from the Greening Union County grant and $70,000 from the Kid Recreation Trust Fund for the reconstruction of the tennis courts at Dr. Martin Luther King Park. Mountainside will be awarded $30,000 from the Kids Rec Trust for upgrades to playgrounds and renovations to the Deerfield softball and baseball fields. New Providence will receive a $2,500 grant from Greening Union County and a $40,000 grant from the Kids Rec Trust for modifications to the walking path surrounding the recreational complex. Plainfield will receive a $90,000 grant from the Kids Recreation Trust Fund for the installation of new lighting at the basketball courts in Rushmore Park. Rawway will receive a $4,500 Greening Union County grant and a $26,645 grant from the Kids Recreation Trust Fund. That will go towards the milling, resurfacing, color coding, relining, and adding ADA access to the basketball court at Howard Field. Roselle will receive a $5,000 Union County grant, and they will also receive $75,000 from the Kids Recreation Trust Fund. That is for Phase 2 improvements of the Grove Street Park with new toddler playground that meets the New Jersey safety requirements. Roselle Park will receive a $10,000 Greening Union County grant and the Kids Recreation Trust Fund grant of $50,000. That's for improvements to the Hawthorne Detention Basin, including installation and improvement of the soccer fields and walking paths. Scotch Plains will receive a Greening Union County grant for the amount of $3,750 and a $65,000 grant from the Kids Rec Trust. And that will be improvements for the safety netting at Scotch Hills Golf Course. Springfield will receive $6,000 from Greening Union County and $40,000 from the Kid Recreation Trust Fund. And that will go towards the installation of playground equipment for fencing repairs and for accessibility improvements. Summit will receive $10,000 from Greening Union County and $59,250 from the Kids Rec Trust. That'll go towards improvements to the basketball courts at Soldiers Memorial Field. Union will receive $10,000 from Greening Union County and $75,000 from the Kids Rec Trust. That will go towards updates and improvements to the equipment at Hoover Park and the fitness path in Volunteer Park. Westfield will receive a $10,000 grant from Greening Union County and $52,500 from the Kids Rec Trust. That money will go towards upgrades at the Edison School Field, recreation equipment at Tamaquist Park, and for an ADA study of municipal parks. And at this time, we have some videos from our municipal partners to tell us a little bit about their projects this year.
I'm Mayor Angie Devaney, Berkeley Heights Township, with our Recreation Department, Carolyn George. I just want to thank the county for our grants. We're standing in front of our new municipal complex, and one of the things that we're going to be building as part of the grant is our new playground for our children here at the new campus that we have here, and we're very excited for the new playground. And we also are very excited in resurfacing our tennis courts and making the community beautiful. We also are putting concrete pads under the bleachers at our softball fields, and we're adding gates and dugouts at Sansone for our baseball field. So thank you, County of Union. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hi, Patrick Giblin, Mayor from the Township of Cranford. Thank you, County of Union and commissioners, for your consideration for our recreation grant. I am at the site of 375 Centennial Ave. It's a former privately owned tennis facility that the township purchased about a year ago. We are looking to convert this beautiful space into a world-class recreational facility for our residents, children, adults of all ages. And we have architectural plans underway to use this space for everything from wrestling to pickleball to basketball to volleyball, to indoor soccer, lacrosse, and so on. Look forward to your support.
Hello, this is Mayor Chris Paulwich. First of all, I'd like to thank the Union County Board of Children Freeholders for all of your efforts in providing the City of Elizabeth over $150,000 in the Kids Recreation Trust and the Greening Union County grant. Our city is going to use this money in our efforts to bring improvements to Kellogg Park, including the replacement of existing equipment, making it ADA compliant, and in addition,
our
municipality green. It coincides with our ambitious tree planting initiative of over 2,000 trees in the next 2 years. We thank the Union County Board of Freeholders for all of their efforts in making the City of Elizabeth a better place to live.
we're here at Dr. King Park. I'm Mayor Armstead. This is Councilman Alfred Muhammad. And today we are here to thank the county for their $125,000 matching grant from the Kids Recreation Trust Fund. The money shall be used to refurbish the tennis courts here. And I'm very happy to say that in the past year or so, these courts have been getting a lot of utilization. So I'm sure the money will be well spent. Once again, I'd like to thank Union County for giving us our $125,000 grant.
Hey, County Commissioners, this is Mayor Ciccarello, and I just want to thank you for your guys' support. This year's grant application will be going to, hopefully, turning this sort of unused catch basin into a usable park. You know, it's going to be a big project, but we appreciate all the support. And yeah, I want to free up some green space and some play areas for the kids of Roselle Park, and you guys are going to be a huge help there. So thank you very much.
Hello, this is Mayor Adrian Owen with a special message of thanks to the Union County Board of Children Freeholders and to the administration of the county. I want to thank you for the Kids Recreation Trust Grant, which would allow us to further improve the facilities at Rushmore Recreational Complex. We are currently in the process of enhancing that facility into artificial turf for soccer and football. We also are going to be installing a scoreboard, an electronic scoreboard, as well as a bleachers and press box to enhance the overall experience of people who will be enjoying the sporting activities that will be hosted at the Rushmore Recreational Complex. And so we want to thank you because we know that our kids, our residents will have a better sporting experience as a result of these grants that you continue to give to the city of Plainfield. Additionally, I want to thank you for the Green in Union County grant, which we will use to replace many of the trees that fell over the years, especially in Hurricane Sandy. And so we know the importance of trees to the environment, and so we want to make sure that we replace as many as possible. And so again, I want to thank you for the continued support that we have come to expect and to receive from the County of Union. Thank you, thank you, and thank you.
Good morning. My name is Mark Ozarowski, the Director of Community Programs for the City of Summit. I am standing on the basketball courts here at Soldiers Memorial Field in Summit. This year, the Department of Community Programs has filed an application for the Union County Kids Trust Grant in order to renovate these basketball courts. This request will be used to renovate these basketball courts. It will include renovating the surface, color coding, striping, new fiberglass backboards, as well as upgrading the surrounding areas, which will include new benches, security cameras, new trash receptacles, and recycling cans. On behalf of the Mayor, Nora Radis, Council President Marjorie Fox, all City Council members, along with City Administrator Michael Rogers, we would like to thank Chairman Hudak, Victoria Drake, and all the county freeholders for this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dellasport, Mayor of the Township of Union. We've requested funding for two of our neighborhood old parks. The first is for Hoover Park, a wonderful space nestled in a residential area. Here, a new playground and swing set is needed for our growing families with young children. The second request is for new exercise equipment along an existing trail at Volunteer Park, which is one of our busiest parks in town. With senior housing nearby, the new equipment would benefit our active seniors and all the residents who visit year-round. I want to thank the freeholders for their continued commitment to the preservation of open space and the development of our parks and playgrounds. Never has the need for outdoor activities been more important than right now. Thank you and stay safe.
Good evening, everyone. My
name is Don Pilardo. I'm the Director of Recreation for the town of Westfield. Our grant application for this year is in 3 parts. First is a joint project with the Westfield Board of Education in adding turf fields to the Edison Intermediate School. These grant funds would be used to help offset the engineering fees and the design of this multi-field complex. The second part of our grant would be used to help offset the cost of upgrades to a well-used picnic pavilion. Adding grills and several ADA compliant picnic tables would allow the pavilion to be used and enjoyed by all who went there. Lastly, Westfield is looking to make all our parks accessible to everyone to enjoy. An ADA accessible audit of our park system, recreation programs, and program spaces are the first step in this process. While Westfield's mission has always been to include and welcome everyone, more needs to be done to make our park system accessible for those with various abilities. We feel that this first step in the process is an important one and will allow Westfield to continue providing first-class programming and access for all users. At this time, I would like to thank the Union County Freeholders for this wonderful opportunity to enhance the Westfield community. And I would like to wish you all the best in the coming months.
So Chairman, that concludes our presentation this afternoon. And, obviously with the pandemic, we did not have the opportunity for the formal ceremony that we typically have, where we'll have mayors and representatives from each municipality in. So I certainly appreciate that so many of the towns took a few moments to make a short video. And what I thought was unique this year is that many of them, took the show on to the locations. And I think that's a very good thing for the public to see how these funds are going to directly impact the community and make recreation better in our 21 municipalities. Because never, I think one of the mayors said, never has there been more interest in outdoor recreation. So glad to see that the money is going to good use. I want to thank my colleagues on the trust fund, Freeholders Kowalski, Garrettson, and Palmieri Muded for their hard work in going through those applications. Also, Director Drake and her staff, they do an amazing job with all of these grant applications each year. They, just one of our grantors this year was Garwood, and Garwood actually didn't put a grant in. And, we were going through the list and who had not responded. And Vicky went to all of those towns, and her staff said, you have to be doing something. And that's why Garwood has sort of an odd numbered grant, because they were, with the COVID emergency, they're really trying to scale back. But, the one good thing about this particular grant is if a municipality is buying 2 swings, they have the ability to apply to have one paid for through the Kids Rec Trust grant. So I appreciate Director Drake and her staff and their creativity to make sure that almost every town was able to participate. And that'll conclude our presentation, Chairman.
Well, thank you, Chairman Hudak and the committee for the great work. And I do agree with you that Director Drake, Administrator Drake, does a terrific job following up on all the opportunities for our communities. And your work, Chairman, has been terrific. I'm glad we were able to satisfy so many requests. And we have a long history of giving back into the community those dollars to help. And it's been terrific to see. I kind of like the video presentation. It was unique, it was different, and a really good idea that you had about a month ago to see if we could get some kind of a visual component to this. So I appreciate that, and nice work all around. And we'll have a lot more trees planted around Union County, which will be great as well. All right, let's move on to the next part of our meeting, the approval of communications. May I have a motion to approve the communications, please?
So moved.
Moved by Freeholder Kowalski and seconded by Freeholder Garrettson. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Certainly, Chairman. Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 6 votes in the affirmative on the communications.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of Thursday, September 3rd, agenda and regular meeting, and September 10th, agenda and regular meeting? May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Freeholder Kowalski and seconded by Freeholder Hudak. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 6 votes in the affirmative on all of the minutes.
Terrific. Thanks for that, Mr. Clerk. Tonight we have one ordinance for first reading. Clerk of the Board, please read the ordinance by title.
Ordinance number 820-2020, bond ordinance to authorize the making of various public improvements and the acquisition of new additional or replacement equipment and machinery, new additional furnishings, new communication and signal systems equipment, and new information technologies and telecommunications equipment in, by, and for the County of Union, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $24,015,415 to pay the cost thereof, to appropriate state grants, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds.
Thank you. I'd like to ask Freeholder Hudak, a member of the Fiscal Committee, to move this ordinance, please.
With pleasure, Chairman. I move ordinance 820-2020 for first reading and authorize the clerk of the board to advertise same in accordance with the law. The public hearing and final reading will be scheduled to be held on November 5th, 2020.
Okay, may I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Staton. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 6 votes in the affirmative on the introduction of the ordinance.
Very good. May I have a motion to suspend the rules to allow for the joining of both the public comment on resolutions being offered for adoption and the public comment on any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be of concern to the residents of Union County into one public comment session?
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Freeholder Staton and seconded by Freeholder Hudak. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 6 votes in the affirmative for the suspension of the rules.
Okay, thank you for that. The meeting is now open to the public for anyone wishing to speak on resolutions being offered for adoption or on any matter. I'm going to ask our clerk to go in order of people who have submitted for their attendance and their comments. Please note there's a 5-minute time limit that will display on the live stream indicating when you time is up. So, Mr. Clerk, who do we have that has registered?
Chairman, there are 2 individuals in the queue. We will lead off with Mr. Bruce Patterson.
Okay, please, Mr. Patterson, make your comments.
Am I unmuted? You can hear me?
Can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board. Bruce Patterson Garwood. I sent in some comments, but I'll read them, of course. First, I'll speak to the general comment section. We are reading about so many missteps and wrong actions with the vote by mail process this election cycle. and not necessarily are they considered fraud, but not only in this county, but also nationwide. For the public, some questions have arisen that need to be answered by the county clerk's department or whoever can answer them. Question one, how can you tell if a ballot came from a deceased person? Two, what happens to all those ballots that are returned undeliverable? And three, what is that yellow sheet of paper that came with some ballots that request some form of ID to be returned with the ballot? And what would happen if that person who received that actually decides to vote by provisional? So, I mean, these questions really need to be answered for the public. Continuing in the resolutions. Resolution 728, this is giving Mount Olive Baptist Church $17,000 for 2 months to provide warming stations for the homeless for the Code Blue program. Just a simple question is, why is Mount Olive actually singled out in the resolution for Code Blue monies when you normally do a resolution for a grand total to all the charitable venues for Code Blue? Resolution 735, this involves open space monies awarded to 9 towns for the amount of nearly $1.5 million. However, it mentions that the scopes are being changed. It's confusing that the scopes can be changed in the middle of a grant, which sounds like it is now in violation of the grant covenants. What happens to the original work? What happened to the original work? And what actually is the new work for these 9 towns? This is usually explained in the original big check presentations, and the now 9 town scopes should be done again here in front of the public so we understand where the money's going to. Also, is this still matching these grant monies? Resolution 739, it's adding $150,000 to the original nearly $6 million for year 2 of the Union County Division of Aging. It just seems strange that a small amount is being added at the end of the year, and it's a nice round number. Just need an explanation who and what this money is going for. Resolution 746, this is giving Wiener Law Group, which is ex-Senator Lesniak's recent law firm that he recently retired from, $15,000 for guidance on potential shared service agreements. Why do we have to go to an outside politically connected counsel when we have around 50 to 80 experienced in-house lawyers to guide us in our legal department, along with wasting $350,000 to suddenly pay for 2 top legal executives as patronage? These actions apparently make our county legal department look suspect. I can consider it called corrupted. Please, appealing to your sense of integrity, vote no on this reso, put this back in-house, and get rid of also the duplication of legal executives immediately. This would save the taxpayers $190,000 in 1 year. Reso 747, giving Kaloji Simmons $10,000 to defend charges against the county for Fanny Cartagena. Just for the public, can you give us an overview of what the legal case is? Resolution 752. This is recognizing Scotch Plains for the Columbus Day celebration, which is great. We would like to thank Joseph Sarno of Scotch Plains, who is also a Union County Freeholder Republican candidate, for taking it on himself to save the Columbus statue in front of his town hall by organizing a petition, a march, plus speeches to have the Scotch Plains governing body save it despite outside pressures. I look forward to his youthful energies on the Freeholder dais once he is voted in. And then you also mentioned there's a new resolution that suddenly came up for $1.8 million for Snyder Park. That just seems wrong that you suddenly stick a resolution for that much money to be voted on with nobody from the public even being aware of it, or even maybe the freeholders. So why is it so suddenly important to put on this agenda? And also, I do agree with Mr. Mirabella, 30% contingency is just plain wrong. I've been in construction this long. 30% contingency, no way. 5, 10% maybe. That $400,000 should be reduced to maybe $100,000, $150,000. So, thanks very much. Look forward to the answers.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Patterson. We'll take this a little bit at a time. I'm going to ask Director Anderson to speak a little bit more, although I thought your answer was very good in the first meeting, on the Code Blue, and then maybe 739 too, Director.
Sure, through you, Chairman. So for the Code Blue, the warming centers are unique. It's not as standard as we have done in the past. This is something that we've added on to this new Code Blue season for 2020. Warming centers are non-sleeping locations. It's somewhere for someone to go in and stay warm. And because there's no dedicated shelter in Plainfield, we researched a lot of community faith-based organizations that would have the capacity to assist the county in serving this population. So that's why it's a separate award, and it's specific for warming centers. And we needed to start November 1st is our date to get started before the weather really gets cold and we can't serve the population. Resolution 739 is actually good news for the county. $150,000 is coming in from the federal government for the Division on Aging. And it's to really serve our population of over 60 that would used to go to the congregate sites and get their socialization or meeting. So we are putting together a pop-up grab and go at those locations. And that $150,000 is actually for that program from the federal government, and it's through CARES Act in addition to their area plan. So thank you.
Great, thank you, Director. Appreciate that. Let's go to Administrator Drake and see if she can discuss just on a very high level about scope changes and why they're necessary.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Through you. This resolution is allowing municipalities to request changes of scope to grants that were previously awarded. They are matching grants as were the original, and because they were awarded specifically by project through resolution, they have to also be canceled and then re-awarded by resolution. No new monies are being used for these awards, and municipalities have 24 months to complete.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, County Council, I heard one valid question was really about just a high-level synopsis on 747. If you can provide that as best you can, that will be helpful.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, through you, this is actually an automobile accident that took place at 5 Points in Union. The county is not directly involved in any way in the accident, but because a county road runs through that intersection, we were named in the lawsuit. So this is just to defend that action. Thank you.
All right, very good. Thank you, County Council. The last comment on Snyder Park, due to the short week this week, and there's not going to be another meeting for a little while till November. I thought it was important. We were able to pull all the information together, and sometimes we add items to the agenda that make sense on the day of the meeting. So that's my explanation for why we have added Snyder Park. Okay, Mr. Clerk, are there anybody else that's registered that wishes to speak?
Chairman, yes, there is a Mr. Daniel Hahn.
Okay, Mr. Hahn, do you have any comments or questions? Okay, it doesn't appear there is. Thank you, Mr. Hahn. And I will at this time, is there anyone else that registered, Mr. Clerk?
Chairman, no, Mr. Hahn raised his hand. I just, in the,
All right, well, I'll definitely open it up to him if he has any
Hi,
questions.
sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sure can.
All right, my bad. So for resolution 734, I'm curious, how is it decided how much money will be allocated per town and per project? And for the resolution regarding the turf field in Snyder Park, what exactly does the contract cover? When will it be completed roughly? And why now to allocate around $1.5 million for a turf field? What exactly was is the intended purpose for it? And for the ordinance, I'm just wondering what exactly is all the borrowing for, and what improvements will actually be detailed in that. That should be all. Thank you.
Okay. 734. Vicky, can you give a little bit, unless Chairman Hudak wants to, either one of you, a little bit just on the process and how it works and how we allocate those funds?
Vicky, no, Vicky, why don't you go through it first? I'll
Okay.
pile on if I need to.
Okay, so for that grant, which is the Greening Union County grant, which provides dollar for dollar or tree for tree match, the Freeholder Board decides through the Open Space Trust Fund Committee in advance how much money is going to be available. They put out applications, municipalities apply, the trust fund, and then the Freeholder Board review and award. And they do a similar, they provide a similar method for the Kids Rec Trust grants.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a sufficient response.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Where's Mike Brennan? If he can speak a little bit more to the project scope, maybe with a little bit of the timeline, that will be helpful for the caller.
Certainly, through you, Mr. Chairman, as you mentioned, when we were able to receive the bids and in a timely manner, we wanted to get someone on board before the winter season. So waiting for another month to start this project at the next board, we figured if we had the opportunity, it would give us some additional time while the weather's nice to get this project underway.
Okay, do you have a rough time frame for when that could begin, the timeline for that?
It's weather dependent, obviously, but we are hoping to have all the site work done by January, and then the turf portion in the early spring.
Okay. All right, very good. Thank you. We did have questions on the borrowing or the capital plan, and County Manager Oatman or Director Taylor, if you want to kind of help answer that question, that would be helpful for us.
Through you, Chairman, the multi-purpose bond ordinance before you this evening is in the amount of $24 million. And that's to fund our 2020 capital budget for various items dealing with supporting the Union County College, the VOTEC, on their normal capital requests, funding our annual roadway improvement projects, also appropriating the grants that help offset that roadway project. We're also looking to do some telecommunication upgrades in the IT department. We have some park improvements at the deserted village in order to conduct a master plan and a review. And we also have some resurfacing of playgrounds at various locations. And my apologies, one last item is the renovation of our dispatch center. The shared services agreements have been enormously successful, and as a result, we have to expand our dispatch center to accommodate the added municipalities coming on board.
Okay, Director Taylor, thanks for that information. I am going to go back. Mr. Patterson asked a question about vote by mail, and I inadvertently skipped over that part. And I do want to ask, since we have our administrator of elections on the board, I want to ask her to respond to those questions, and actually good questions.
Through you, Chairman, I'm happy to answer those questions. First, we do receive notification from local registrar's office as well as the State Department of Health when someone passes away. So if we do receive a ballot after they've passed away, it is flagged in the state voter registration system, and the vote will not be counted. Additionally, we do often receive ballots back from folks who have passed away and not been able to vote their ballots, and we'll get little love notes on the envelope that tells us from their loved ones that they passed away, and we will remove them from the voter registry. So ballots that are returned as undeliverable, we first research to make sure that the ballot cannot be forwarded. So for example, there was an issue in the primary with the way the state voter registration was printing labels to residents living in apartments. The apartment numbers were not printing out on the labels. So when all those ballots came back, we quickly updated all of the apartment information, and the county clerk was able to reissue those ballots in time for those voters to be able to vote. So we do review every ballot that comes back as undeliverable to make sure that it can be, to see if it can in fact be reissued and if there was a mistake in the address. If they have moved and it was returned as undeliverable because they have moved, they are coded as inactive in the voter registration system, so they will not be able to vote in future elections. And the final question relative to the yellow sheet of paper asking for the voter to provide ID. Pursuant to the Federal Help America Votes Act, voters have to provide identifying information, whether it be the last 4 digits of their social security number or their driver's license number in order to register. So if a voter registers but does not provide this information, they are required to show ID before we can accept their ballot. So they would have to include a copy of ID in the outer envelope, not in the certificate envelope, in the outer envelope when they're mailing back their ballot. And the same thing happens if they decide to go vote provisional. The provisional ballot certificate asks for either driver's license number or the last 4 digits of the voter's social security number so that we can verify that they are in fact registered active voter and entitled to vote.
I knew you'd have excellent answers for that. So thank you, Madam Administrator.
Thank you, Chairman.
I'm sorry I skipped over that. I got a little flustered when Mr. Patterson said he agreed with me. So sorry I went over that. But I'm glad we went back, and I'm glad you were able to clarify that. It's important. There's a lot of misconceptions about voting. It's very different this year, and I'm glad you could clarify that. And as other things come up, I'm sure you're working to clarify that stuff as well. So nice work over there. All right. Mr. Clerk, I guess there's no one else that's registered.
Chairman, you would be correct. There's no one else in the queue, and I did not receive any other emails with questions or comments to be entered into the record.
Okay. All right. So I'll close that portion of the meeting. And ask for a motion to adopt resolutions 2027-22 through 2027-55.
So moved.
Moved by Freeholder Hudak and seconded by Freeholder Palmieri Muedad. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson? That is a yes. Freeholder Hudak?
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski?
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad?
Aye.
Freeholder Staton?
Yes.
And Chairman Mirabella?
Aye.
Chairman, you have 6 votes in the affirmative on all resolutions.
Okay, let's go on to Freeholder reports and comments. And I don't know if your screen is like mine, but I'll go from the top left, and that is going to start with Freeholder Staton.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. I'll be brief. I'd just like to encourage everyone to please go to the county website and our social media pages. There's a lot of information in reference to the COVID testing, the flu shots, and the food distributions. If you can get a hold of the information and give it to a senior or someone that needs it. I know everyone is not on social media, but Union County is providing a lot of services during this pandemic. And I would like all the residents to take advantage of it and, you know, like I said, pass it on to a senior or someone that's in need, especially with food, or they don't have insurance to pay for the flu shots. There are flu clinics being held, you know, throughout Union County. So everyone, please keep that in mind and share the information. Also, Halloween is coming up, and I know a lot of Halloween activities have been canceled in towns, but some towns are still hosting them. You know, just keep the kids encouraged and be safe, and this too shall pass. So thank you everyone for joining us, and thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Freeholder Staten. Freeholder Mudet.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to start by just thanking Director Drake as well as Committee Chair Hudak. I enjoyed serving on the committee that awarded the grants, and it was wonderful. I actually agreed with Chairman Mirabella. I loved seeing the videos from the different municipalities because it was really nice to be able to see firsthand and have the public see firsthand what projects are going to be underway. So I'm happy to serve on that committee, and I'm so grateful that we do have that opportunity for our municipalities. I'd also just like to remind everyone, Chairman Mirabelle mentioned it earlier, but we do have an exhibit coming to the Trailside Nature Center this weekend, Saturday, October 17th from 11 to 4 p.m. It will be located on the Sensory Trail, and it is a child-friendly display and a great opportunity to be outside during this fall weekend. I think we're going to have some rain tomorrow, but nice weather as the weekend goes on. The exhibit consists of 12 colorful animal sculptures made with thousands of recycled water bottles, from butterflies to frogs and penguins and more. There's been some teaser photos that have been appearing online, and it's really amazing. It looks like a wonderful, wonderful exhibit and something fun for the kids to do this weekend. So I hope that our residents will take advantage, and please make sure you're practicing your social distancing guidelines. Staff from Trailside will be there to ensure that those are enforced, but wear your masks and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Kowalski.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to remind people today is the last day for getting your census information in. So you can go online and do that. It only takes a few minutes. If you have not done it, please take care of that tonight before midnight, because this is very important to make sure that we get all of the federal funding for all of our programs. You heard about grants in our agenda, our agenda tonight, and it's very important that everyone be counted. Also reminding you that if you are still confused about how to fill out your mail-in ballot, you can go to unioncountyvotes.com, and there's a lot of information there. There's a video with County Clerk Rajapi. You can go through it slowly at your own pace and be sure that you are doing it right so that your vote will be counted. And finally, we generally have a senior art show that's put together by our Cultural and Heritage Affairs Office, which we did not do because of the pandemic, but the seniors produced some beautiful artwork, and it can now be seen online when you go to our website, ucnj.org/senior-art. So when you have a moment to look at some beautiful artwork, please have a look at that. Our seniors are amazing, and I think it'll brighten your day to have a look at some of this beautiful artwork. So thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder Kowalski. Freeholder Hudak.
Thank you, Chairman. I want to just reiterate the chairman's comments regarding elections. I can't speak to the other counties in New Jersey or other counties across this country, but I will tell you that the Board of Election staff and the Union County Clerk have been doing just an absolute amazing job. And, Freeholder Kowalski was saying you can go to Union County Votes and see the clerk go through a play-by-play video. But I would also say, she's been doing community meetings and Zooms and Google Hangouts and WebExes all over the county, trying to, communicate the ballot and how to use the mail-in ballot through the primary and now through the general election. And I, also just want to encourage as many residents as possible to get in your ballots now. There is a ballot drop box in all 21 municipalities in Union County. That's a great job by our Board of Elections staff for making sure we were able to procure those boxes and working with not just county locations to place those boxes, but municipalities throughout the county, because at the end of the day, when we all vote, we all win, regardless of our party affiliation. But this is a very important election, probably the most substantial election in our time. And we say that every year, but we actually get to mean it this year. Please vote. And also remember that if you go to the polling place on election day, you are just going to be voting by mail with more paperwork. It's the same process. You will not be voting on a machine. You will be voting provisionally by a paper ballot. So please take advantage of the drop boxes, sign it, seal it, deliver it to one of those boxes. It'll be picked up by a nonpartisan or a bipartisan staff from the Board of Elections, and they'll make sure it's safe. And I just want to leave by reminding everyone the reason we're doing that this year. There is an ongoing pandemic, and lives are truly at stake. If you've been watching the news, it is clear that numbers are spiking even here in New Jersey, where all the precautions have been in place for some time: social distancing, wearing masks, smart decisions in terms of getting groups together. But nevertheless, as we're going indoors, those numbers are going up. So I would also just encourage all Union County residents not only to vote by mail because it's convenient, but vote for your health and the health of your family and your friends. There'd be nothing better if we get through this winter and we all feel a little inconvenienced by the social distancing and a little annoyed by wearing masks, and we all can be together to feel that and be annoyed by it, but we'll all be alive. So please make sure you take those precautions as we head into the colder months. And also please make sure, there's going to be this 1-2 punch. I know Union County has been, and our public safety department has set up a number of seasonal flu clinics. Please take advantage of those. Make sure you combat not just COVID-19, but the flu, this year's flu bug, because that's going to be a 1-2 punch for a lot of our residents. So with that, thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder Hood. I appreciate your comments. Freeholder Garrettson.
Thank you so much, Chairman. I think we heard a lot of very important information from my colleagues this evening, whether we talked about the folks that do the good work every day or just some of the work that some of the different freeholders do every day. But a couple events I want to highlight. Last week, there was a event in the park. It was a drive-in concert, and it was absolutely fantastically put together. If you have an opportunity and you want to be able to socially distance but still do something positive in the community, I'm sure the chairman's going to highlight one coming up, so I won't take his thunder. But we had a fantastic job. There was Freeholder Rebecca Williams, of course, of Plainfield, and Andrea Sunshine Staten, who we were all together at this event, at this venue. But Vicky and the team, everyone did such a fabulous job of really just meeting people where they are and understanding that these are not typical times. And one thing we don't always say, or at least I don't say, is thank you to every single Union County resident. Because as residents, we all are making so many different sacrifices. We don't know what we're all going through every day. We don't know what it's like to experience this pandemic, but we're living it. We're doing the best we can so that we can truly be supportive to each other each and every day. There are numerous different activities, as my colleagues have mentioned, so I won't repeat that. But I also just want to conclude in saying that I just want to thank everyone as we continue to recognize all the good work. There are certain things that are truly very inspirational to my heart in the parks and recreation throughout our county. As a Union County resident, it makes me truly proud to be able to join with many Hillside residents who today celebrated a new addition in one of our parks, but it's of course all of our park. So I just want to thank everybody on the board for your continued support, but thank each and every resident who continues to not think that it's robbery to value the work that we put in, but also just we understand the work that you're putting in every day with your families. So please continue to be blessed. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you next time. God bless you.
Thank you, Freeholder Garrettson. I appreciate that. I just have a couple of quick comments. One, Red Ribbon Day is approaching. It will be very different this year, as many of our events are virtual celebration.
That's what I'm going to do.
Red Ribbon Day, really partnering with Prevention Links is always a highlight for me, and many of the freeholders have been to that event in Nomahegan Park over the years. But we are not. We are still going to have a ceremony and a celebration. I want to congratulate Scotch Plains Police Officer Baltasar, who would have been receiving an award for the most DWI arrests in the county. Prosecutor Rotolo and I had a chance to visit with Officer Baltasar this morning with Chief Connolly in Scotch Plains, and I thought that was terrific. But really, the message of Red Ribbon Day is, keep your children safe, keep them off drugs and prevention tools, whatever you can use. Reach out to Prevention Links, visit their website. They are a great partner of Union County, and we want to keep our kids safe and our adults safe as well. The opioid crisis is still in Union County through all facets of our county. Every corner of the county. So we need to be vigilant and continue our focus on that. And I congratulate Prevention Links for all their work over the year. Freeholder Garrettson mentioned an upcoming concert, and that's Southside Johnny. I mentioned it during our first meeting. Monday, October 19th, will be the opportunity to register for that concert. I'm sure it will be a lot of fun, and I'm sure it will go very fast. So be ready on Monday morning to try to register and get a spot for that. I hope you can. I want to also mention another highlight of this week. This morning, Harbor Freight Tools. That doesn't ring a bell to too many of us, but they offer a program nationally where they give monetary awards to teachers and faculty who, particularly the auto mechanics area. And we just saw, and I know all of us are proud of the rankings of our schools and the vocational schools in the state of New Jersey by niche.com, where 4 of our schools were the top 4 places in the entire county. And all 5 of our schools were in the top 7 ranked in our county. The vocational schools, AIT, the Magnet School, and APA, and UC Tech, and Applied, all of them in the top 7. But this was an award for the trades of Union County, the trade school portion. And Michael Shepard won this national award. I think there were 18 of these awards given out nationally. I had a chance to congratulate on behalf of the board. Mr. Shepard had the superintendent of UCVTS, Gwen Ryan, online with several board members, President Gene Perkins and Phyllis Mirabella. And it was really a nice award, partially to the district and partially to Mr. Shepard. But we really need to celebrate and highlight the vocational part of the vocational and technical schools. They do a terrific job in and out. I mean, not everybody is going to college, and they are learning their trade, whether it's electricians or hairdressers or auto mechanics. And for Mr. Shepard to be awarded this is quite an accomplishment. And I want to congratulate him in this public forum on behalf of my colleagues on the board. The last thing, and there's been some conversation tonight, this is the last meeting before the election, and I urge everyone to get out and vote as well, and vote early. And you have the ballots. Many of us around our county have had it for a couple of weeks now, and people are turning them in. But I want to take a minute and offer my congratulations in the future to my colleagues, because I'm sure the choice is very clear, and that they will win and be returned to office, and that's Freeholder Hudak and Freeholder Garrettson. Soon to be joining our board is soon to be Freeholder Leon. I'm looking forward to working with the three of you moving forward, along with County Clerk Rajapi and Sheriff Corvelli. Really, this team is amazing, and we need to continue the progress that we have all participated in this year, next year, and moving forward. So good luck. I know you all have worked hard in this unique year, but the choice is clear, and I'm sure your record will stand for itself. So congratulations to in advance to Freeholders Hudak and Garrettson and Sheriff Corvelli and Clerk Rajapi. Okay, so with that, I will conclude my comments.
Chairman, this is Jim Pelletieri, clerk.
Yes, Jimmy.
I just wanted to advise you that after looking into my the emails, there was one additional email that did come in from for public comment on any matter. Unfortunately, the email that did come in, the attachment was a photograph of a list of questions. So I will reach out to the individual that emailed me for a hard copy or clarify what the questions are, and then we'll work on the county's behalf with her to answer those questions. But if I can, for the record, read into the email that I did receive earlier today, would that be okay for you?
Sure.
Thank you very much. The email is verbatim. Hello, my name is Maria Echevarria, and I live in Elizabeth. I am here representing Freedom Angels. I've attached a letter with a list of demands that I would like for you to read. Again, trying to open up the attachment, it is a photo of a letter, and unfortunately, I cannot expand it and I cannot read it. So I will work with Ms. Maria Echevarria on getting that letter and having the county address it as appropriate as possible, okay?
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. We will certainly get back to that individual, and that will be great. Okay. Tonight we need to go to an executive session. After voting to enter this executive session, the Zoom meeting will end, and we will enter into another Zoom meeting to conduct this executive session. Upon completion of that session, the board will return to vote to return from executive session and to return and to vote to adjourn. If anyone wishes to view these actions, they could do so by watching the live stream on the county website or Facebook page. County Council Bergen, can you please make your statement relative to tonight's executive session?
Thank you, Chairman. Pursuant to provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, a public body may enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing certain enumerated subjects. This board now wishes to enter executive session for the purpose of discussing attorney-client privileged information concerning contract negotiations. The minutes of the executive session shall be separated from the minutes of the open public session. The minutes of the executive session, redacted as appropriate and necessary, shall be available in approximately 30 days. The clerk to the board shall retain the original minutes until such time as the confidential limitations have been removed, at which time they shall be made available. Upon the affirmative vote of a majority of the members present, the board may retire to executive session. Upon the board's return, it may or may not take formal action on the matters discussed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, County Council Bergen. May I have a motion to go into this executive session?
So moved.
Moved by Freeholder Kowalski and seconded by Freeholder Palmieri Muedad. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson. Freeholder Granados. I'm sorry, Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Aye.
Freeholder Staton.
Yes.
And Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman,
Yes,
your
for Freeholder
Garrettson.
Garrettson. Yes.
Freeholder Garrettson, raise her hand. Yep, she's got it. Okay, so we have 6 in favor, and we are going to be going into executive session now. So we're going to shut this meeting down, and we'll all plug into the other meeting. Okay, talk to you all in a little bit. Okay, may I have a motion to return from executive session?
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad, seconded by Freeholder Hudak. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Certainly. Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
Chair Mirabella.
Aye.
Chair, you have 5 freeholders voting to return from executive session.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. County Council Bergen, is there anything to discuss relative to our executive session?
There's not, Mr. Chairman, nothing to announce at this time.
Thank you very much, Bruce. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Freeholder Hudak and seconded by Freeholder Palmieri Muedad. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Certainly. Freeholder Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 5 votes in the affirmative for the adjournment of this meeting.
Have a
Thank you.
good night,
Good night,
everybody.
everyone.
Nice work.
Aye.